Welcome to the Fasting Podcast, Wow, Wellness and Optimal Weight. I'm your host, Julie Phillips, Certified Natural Health Professional, bringing you episode 128, Southern European Atlantic Diet, SEAD. The SEAD, it's also nicknamed the Atlantic Diet, is the traditional diet of northern Portugal and northwest Spain. And the approach is used in countries bordering the Atlantic Ocean like Ireland, Scotland, Wales, southern England, Isle of Man, French Brittany. We did episode 100 of this podcast on the Mediterranean diet and fasting. And it's an eating approach, the Mediterranean, that's usually deemed among the top health-producing approaches available. Well, the SEAD, recent findings deem it perhaps just as healthy as the Mediterranean diet, but with more foods that are typically avoided. The new research suggests that even with more pork and red meat, the SEAD plan can be just as protective against heart disease and early death. And there are other differences that we will talk about in this episode. The 2021 study in MBC Medicine involved over 3,000 adults aged 60 and over starting in 2008 and spanning multiple years. And these participants logged daily intake in 9 categories: fresh fish, cod, red meat and pork products, dairy products, legumes and vegetables, vegetable soup, potatoes but not fried, whole grain bread, and wine. Oxford Academics, the Advances in Nutrition, which is an international review journal, indicates that this plan even provides epigenetic benefits. The SEAD has more fish and shellfish consumption than Mediterranean diet, also more meat, mainly pork and veal. It has more apples, pears, citrus fruits, more chestnuts, bread from unrefined flour, and potatoes. Instead of the rice and pasta, it has more whole grains, more dairy products, especially cheeses. So you can see this was quite the surprise to me to discover how super healthy an approach can be that has all these additional options in it. Both plans promote healthy lifestyle with daily activity and enjoying meals as a social act, water as the main beverage, and simple cooking processes. I located a detailed document, which is 72 pages, and it's the original unedited version of this document that compares SEAD, Mediterranean, Dash, and Nordic. And I created a link for that. And don't type in www, type in rebrand.ly/SEAD, lowercase, rebrand.ly/SEAD. You can check that out. And some of the basics of SEAD are that there's daily consuming of fruits, veggies, whole grains, olive oil, and dairy. And then weekly, they're consuming seafood such as cod, eggs, dried fruits, legumes, lean meats like beef, pork, and poultry, and occasional consuming of fatty meats and sweets. Here's some tips that were created for the SEAD plan. And again, SEAD stands for Southern European Atlantic Diet. Target 4 to 5 servings per day of local, seasonal vegetables. Eat potatoes roasted, steamed, or broiled, but not fried, and they're providing good fiber and minerals like potassium. Do include whole grains, such as brown rice, quinoa, oats, buckwheat, amaranth, farro, because you're going to get a lot of fiber and the essential minerals, but avoid refined and white grain products. Consume plant-based protein from things like nuts, seeds, legumes, which can provide prebiotic sources. Eat sustainable fish several times a week, like sardines, wild-caught salmon, anchovies. Choose pork and grass-fed meat in moderation. Choose pure water as your main beverage, and you may enjoy organic coffee, tea, herbal tea, fresh pressed juice, and avoid soda, sugary drinks, and commercial juices. A healthy wine should be limited to 1 to 2 glasses per day. So here's some of the findings. A PubMed article concludes some bioactive compounds of SEAD had showed health benefits and protect against acute myocardial infarction, which, by the way, is a heart attack. Data supports that SEAD is a sustainable diet. That's important. SEAD should be considered as an excellent dietary pattern and lifestyle. That's what it is. Researchers found that higher adherence to the SEAD was associated with the lower levels of some cardiovascular risk factors, reduced risk for the heart attack, and lower all-cause mortality. Also had a positive effect on epigenetics. Now, previous studies show that it helps promote healthier gut microbiota and can lower levels of inflammatory markers and several cardiovascular risk factors. Based on available research, SEAD may help decrease C-reactive protein, which is inflammatory marker, total cholesterol and triglycerides, risk of heart attack, insulin resistance, blood pressure challenge, BMI, and waist circumference. Overall, the SEAD was shown to be protective against common chronic disease risk factors to a similar magnitude as both the Mediterranean diet and alternative healthy eating index, which includes nutrient-rich foods such as vegetables, fruits, fish, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Here's some conclusions. Attributes of SEAD contributing to longer, healthier lives might include the following: higher intake of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, decreased saturated fat intake, increased omega-3 fatty acid intake, increased protein intake, and increased fiber intake, low intake of added sugar and sodium, and avoidance of excess alcohol consumption. So besides a healthy diet, the good amount of physical activity and the strong social networks can help reduce stress. Eating home-cooked meals that are grown locally, socializing often, getting sunshine exposure year-round, and staying physically fit are other ways that these populations seem to age really well. For questions and feedback, contact me, Julie, at jpwowprograms.com. Please refer others to the podcast and YouTube. And remember, stay positive, focused, and determined, because where the mind goes, energy flows.